You guys are absolutely insane. I asked for 400 and we got over 500 subscribers. You guys have no idea how happy you guys have made me and younger me. I've been dreaming of this since I was a kid. I used to record Halo Reach infected videos on a tablet, so to see all of this love happen in real time is just amazing. So truly, thank you guys. I have a new goal in mind. Hear me out. 1,000 subscribers before the summer. Now I know it sounds like a lot, but think about it. In just about a month, we went from 45 to a little over 500. So I think we got this down in the bag. If not, that's okay. We'll reach greater heights in due time. Together. So let's make this journey a great one. So picking up where we left off with Cecil just spawning in Mark's room with no invitation in sight. Over at the Pentagon, Mark already knows a lecture is coming up, so he tells him to get on with it. Cecil just tells him how not long ago they were working together so well until Mark found out he was reforming killers, giving them a second chance. He states how Oliver killed the Mauler twins and Mark just looked away, as well as him having killed Conquest and Russ Livingston. He tries to oppose the statement, saying Oliver isn't even from this planet, so his views of life and death are different, so it isn't even really his fault. Adding in how Conquest was trying to take over the world so he'd do it again, and Russ was going to defeat them, so he had no choice. All Cecil can tell Mark is the truth of how he's terrified of Mark. He points out how Mark time and time again has a tendency to stand up for what he believes in, no matter the outcome or consequence, basically calling him a hothead that acts on impulse. He's worried that one day Mark might take over the planet, but Mark dismisses it, saying that realizing that a threat is so great it needs extreme action and taking over the world is a huge leap in logic. Just then, Cecil checks real quick if Sinclair is ready, and we see him frantically trying to hide the Invincible reanimant, requesting just 30 more seconds. While the two continue walking, Cecil says he lets his temper get the better of him, thinking it comes with just being a Viltrumite. As Mark vows that he will kill Angstrom for killing thousands of people, Cecil says he can't argue with the logic. The problem is, Mark isn't always capable of making the clear judgment call. As they enter the room, he shows him an example of him being wrong about needing to kill someone. He shows Mark the newly reformed Sinclair and tells him that he's getting married and is even expecting his first child with his new fiancée. Sinclair tells Mark that he's not a bad person. He was just almost driven mad by his work, thinking what he did was for the greater good. He regrets what he did, but finds comfort in knowing that it had to be done. Mark tells Cecil he gets why he was wrong and he feels terrible about killing Russ, saying he forced himself to do it because he thought it was the right thing to do. But maybe he was just taking the easy way out so he didn't have to think of another way. While the two continue talking, they're interrupted by Donald, who tells Cecil there's a situation in New York, and we all know he was gonna ask Mark for help. It was basically set up. Donald tells Cecil that he doesn't like manipulating Mark and guesses that he didn't even tell him about Conquest. Cecil just tells him that he's using Mark already second guessing himself to pull him back onto their side because he's just too powerful to be out on his own. And he didn't tell Mark about Conquest because after he broke out, he just left, so he wants to wait until there's an issue to deal with it. But man, oh man, the very next page is literally on the Viltrumite ship, and none other than Conquest is walking in a room asking Sire for a moment to explain before being interrupted by General Krieg, who commands him to get on his knees. None may address Grand Regent Thragg without submission. As he's told to bow down, he goes on to state how he's failed his mission on Earth, but then the mustache figure tells him, "You're like an animal that's content with blood on his teeth and barely controllable." He says an animal is only useful when it obeys, and he's now failed his orders, making Thragg question what use does he really have for him. Conquest states that he toyed with Mark for too long and let him gain an advantage, and begs for forgiveness as he served well for many years. He in fact begs. Like, this ain't the same Conquest that came to Earth. Thragg then tells him that they've received word that the Coalition has sent a team to Earth to retrieve Mark and recruit him as an aide in the war against them. And with this, he gives Conquest a new mission. A mission to go and stop them on their way back, but make sure that none are left alive. After this, we cut back to Earth, where we see Eve has just told William that she's pregnant, and all he can say is the normal congratulations. Eve states that this isn't something to celebrate because even though her and Mark do love each other, she's too young, and they aren't even married yet, so she isn't ready to have a baby just yet. She wants all of that with him, but not right now, saying he's fighting someone new every day, and he just can't stop and be there for her. Another cut, and we see Oliver in the kitchen eating a bowl of cereal, in fact his second. Debbie is here trying to give Oliver reasons to go out, saying stuff like, get more cereal or go out to help Mark. He just replies with, I'm lazy, and tries to make conversation to stay before she tells him to go out, saying she's sure Mark needs help. Oliver just says that all he does nowadays is hang out with Eve, and that's when we get a cartoon type cutover to Mark carrying Titan flying away from Mr. Liu in dragon form. As some villains come in to aid, Mark asks who is that since he attacked the prison a while back. Titan tries to give him a short answer, but Mark ain't buying it, so he has to explain himself. After explaining who Mr. Liu is and why the prison attack happened, Isotope spawns in stating, we found him, and teleports them away. Just as Mark asks for advice in beating the dragon, leaving him to deal with it all alone. Just as the two have a second to chat, mid-sentence, Mr. Liu just disappears, leaving Mark shocked and confused. Then we see Titan and the villains fighting Liu and his bodyguard before Mark comes flying in asking what's going on before forcing Isotope to vanish. All Mark can see is them beating on an old man, so he asks them about it. Titan tells him that the dragon was just some form of soul projection and that the old man isn't so sweet and the big guy protects his body while he's out. Mark, heated, says he thought he was a good guy and would clean up his act, but all he did was cause major damage, and before Mark can deliver a blow, Cecil teleports in the nick of time, arriving, telling him, "We got it from here." Mark doesn't want to let him go, but realizes what he's doing and just flies off. The place he flies off to was Art's tailor shop. Confused, he asks Mark, "Is everything okay?" Mark tells him how he feels like his new suit is a curse, since ever since he put it on, he's seen more death than he can handle. He spent months digging out bodies, and he doesn't think he can hold back his temper as it gets the best of him and is hard to hold back at times. Art tells Mark that he can't change the past and fix what Mark has done, but if he wants to go back to the man he once was, he can make sure he looks the part. And that is when we get to see the new Invincible suit. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm calling this suit Invincible Mark III. This is the third suit, Mark III. As he flies back home, Eve is already there waiting for him, stating she saw the news and was worried and thought he'd be back soon, but didn't know he went to get a new costume. She notices Mark isn't beaten up, so she figures his talk with Cecil went well. He just tells her that he's worried about Mark's recent actions. He then states that he's done with killing, saying it's just too easy and thinks it isn't the answer anymore. Sounding like his old self already, I'm not even gonna lie. As Mark asks if she wants to get dinner, she says yes, since she has something to talk to him about before looking up in complete shock. Mark, confused at her reaction, turns around before becoming shocked himself. We see none other than Nolan and Alan finally arrive on planet Earth. As Nolan states, "It's time, son. You are needed. The time for war is upon us." Later on that day at dinner, Eve tells Mark that they don't have to be here since his dad just came back to Earth, but Mark wants to be here. He doesn't remember the last time they were on an actual date, so he decides to just stay. She tells him that she's worried about him and asks if it was weird seeing his father again. He says, "Is it because he tried to kill me? Or is it that before doing it, he lied to me about being a normal superhero dad and was actually part of a race trying to conquer the universe? Or even how he said he was prepared to kill me and called mom a pet." He then tells her that this isn't his first time seeing his dad since their fight. As they keep on talking, they decide this isn't the place for this conversation and decides to just leave. Mark continues to tell her about his experiences with the Viltrumites as the two spend some time together before Mark has to leave. He tells her how the Viltrumites plan to come to Earth because of their compatible DNA and plan to regrow their population, so the battle was inevitable. As the two finish up their conversation, she asks Mark if he's scared. He tells her yes, but it isn't because of what might happen or the outcome. He's scared of what the war will make him become. And that's the end of the chapter. But stay tuned, because in the next video, I'll be going over one of the most anticipated rematches in comic history, and it is for sure a bloody one. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as it helps a ton, and drop a comment about your favorite part of the video or something you can't wait for. Even if it's a question about an upcoming moment in the comic, just drop it in the comments and I'll respond. Again, thank you guys for the love and support. You all mean a lot to me. I cannot believe we passed 400 and hit 500. Road to 1,000. I'm not gonna lie, we can do this. I know we can. I'll give updates every 100th sub and thank y'all many more times. I don't care how many times it needs to happen. Y'all will know I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe.